And we're back here. Main event. Bruce Cooper joins us. Found the building, got up here. Exciting. Welcome to the new temporary set here at the new studio.
I like it. I mean, a little palatial, a little spacious. You know, look, I'm all good. I'm digging this.
We have all the room in the world now.
Well, this is Coop's old stomping grounds.
Yeah, I know it. Well, did you get PTSD
Yeah.
coming down Van Buren is my question.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you. I mean, we're Channel 12 Studios is just a block away, and I mean, dargum, I know this area very well.
I could. I drive by Sherwin-Williams paint stores. That's where I work for. I worked for them for 20-something years in the corporate world. I drive by them and I shudder every time I drive by. So hopefully I didn't give you too much PTSD when you were coming down here and stuff like that. But appreciate you joining us as always.
Absolutely.
Are you going over to the stadium afterwards?
I'm actually going over to talk a little Diamondback baseball with Joe Garagiola Jr.
Okay.
As you guys know, I know you guys have been playing the cuts and talking about the fact that Ken Kendrick, the Diamondbacks owner, is bringing back Torey for another year.
Yeah.
Let's get started with that. Let's see if we can influencing your questioning here today, because some soft questions, I think, yesterday from 98.7 in terms of the thought process on bringing him back and stuff. And I think I'm not opposed to Torey coming back because I don't put all the blame on Torey. To me, it's more the organization, Mike Hazen. The thing that's most disappointing to me is obviously they never once looked that Mike Hazen's job should be on the line with the way the bullpens have been set up, the way the team has been set up, star players not playing when they need to be. And Mike Hazen's never, apparently, it looks like, never evaluated in this process.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And then, a week ago in our old studios, we talked about, and I know Dale was very critical of it, the fact that
Dale, no.
the fact that Torey Lovullo sat Gallen and went with a bullpen.
Yeah. Did you hear those comments?
Yeah. I mean, and so now to learn that was an organizational decision and not necessarily a Lovullo's decision, that takes me back to your point, Mike Hazen. And so, why does he get a free pass?
Well, the thing about that Torey said yesterday or day before, and we played him yesterday, is the fact that when I listened to him and he said that decision was made by a group of people over here and a group of people over here, and Torey gets to manage, quote unquote, the game from the first pitch on, but it's all the stuff that leads up to it that there's groups of people chirping and pitching in and come up with different ideas. How many people do you need in the kitchen, Coop?
That's a great question, and I think that the Diamondbacks need to sit back and reflect and look back over not only what they can do with the product on the field, but what they can do in terms of supporting that product on the field. Because it seems like every year there's an issue in the bullpen. I mean, we're talking about that every single year.
They never have a closer. When they get a closer and it falters, they can't make a decision. The decisions with Torey's teams, whether getting out of a slump, Sewald struggling, throwing him back out there constantly, there's an obvious disconnect where everybody watching the Diamondbacks can literally say from their couch, something's not right here.
Right.
And the third base coach this year. And everybody can see it happening, and then the Diamondbacks sit there and blow smoke in our face and go, there's not a problem.
Yeah.
We'll be better.
And then when they make the change at third base coach, then all of a sudden you see the production go in a positive direction.
There's an organizational problem here, and what I learned from Ken Kendrick yesterday with his interview on 98.7 was Ken Kendrick is perfectly fine with this organization setup and the way that it's going. And that's where I was most disappointed yesterday, because this is an organization that has an issue. It has disconnects. All organizations do, but they're not willing to address them, and that's what's disappointing to me.
Yeah, and here we find that they're going to let Torey finish out his contract, so that means he's a lame duck coach for a third time in his 10-year career.
A lame duck coach who doesn't make decisions.
But here's the deal. The last time he was a lame duck coach was 2023.
Yes.
And they made their way to the World Series.
Yeah.
So, maybe lightning can strike again in that bottle. But let me just say this, that, the Diamondbacks need to be more forthright more decisive in what they do during the offseason. I mean, if Torey Lovullo is your man, and you know who he is after 10 years. I mean, this is year 10.
Yes.
Then go ahead and extend this guy. But just the plan around, I'm going to see how you do. Come on, dude. You know who he is and what he's all about. So be decisive one way or the other.
Yeah, but don't you say this is the way I look at it, and then you tell me if you think I'm wrong. Who are you going to bring in here? You're going to bring in Bruce Bochy, and next year you're not going to put a whole lot more money in this team. Three of your best, if not your three best pitchers, are most likely not pitching, and you're not going to bring in A-level talent. Why bring in another guy to have to deal with that mess?
Well, Dale, look, I'm okay with bringing back Lovullo,
Okay.
but why lame duck him? You know who he is, and that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing when they go into the off season from a player personnel standpoint. You sit around and you start watching this guy go off, this guy go off the market, this guy go off the market, and then you're left with your plan B or plan C. I mean, look,
We always say they shop at Ross. That's
right.
what we say about
Absolutely.
the Diamondbacks.
If you're going to spend money, go spend money. Look, we already know the two big issues that are out there from the starting pitcher standpoint. Zach Gallen. It shouldn't be an issue of, let's see. No, you should have a game plan already, and you know his agent is Steve Boros. You know he's not going to come cheap. You know you've already spent $210 million on Corbin Carroll. Burns.
I do that all the time too.
and so now the next thing is Merrill Kelly. Hey, this should be some things that are done right away. You don't give any other teams a chance to do. That's one of the things I really loved about Jerry Colangelo when he was with the Suns. I mean, when midnight strike, you could almost accuse him of tampering.
Yeah.
Midnight oil struck. Bam. Hour struck. I mean, he bam. He knew what he wanted. They had a game plan. The Diamondbacks should operate the same way. They should have a game plan and know what they want going in right away.
They won't.
Instead of reacting.
Right.
They'll say, "Oh, Gallen, go get your offer and come back and see us, and we'll see if we can do it." That type. of stuff.
And so from that standpoint, I don't like. And so now there's issues at first base. There's issues at third base because you traded away Naylor and you traded away Suarez.
Right.
All right. Gurriel Jr. is going to miss probably half the season rehabbing from ACL.
Mm-hmm.
So now, okay, you know what you have in your minor league system. You've watched some young kids like Blaze Alexander and Tim Tawa, and you have your highly rated minor league number one player in Lawler. I mean, look. You should already have a plan and know what you want to do, and you've already looked at a free agent list. I mean, the Diamondbacks wait every year, and like you said, I like that. They shop at Ross.
That's what we say. Everybody else is shopping at Nordstrom's that wants to make a playoff push, and the Diamondbacks sit back, let the big guys go off, which isn't a bad philosophy. I'm not opposed to that.
Well,
Letting the big guys go
there's
away,
there's a reality part of it too.
They don't have the
right.
bank. I understand
it's
that.
like we're not like Coop. Like Coop, he's always just shopping at Nordstrom's. We shop at Ross, and every once in a while we're going to. But the difference with Diamondbacks is when they go into Nordstrom's, they go get distracted by this shiny object. It's the guy that they spent all this money on either gets hurt or doesn't produce like he used to.
Yeah. Look. Mad Bomb. They spent heavy on him. Jordan Montgomery.
They can spend heavy. They can't miss when they spend heavy.
Right.
Whereas the Dodgers can eat it, the Yankees can eat it, the Mets can eat it.
Right.
That's their problem.
Well, when is the last guy that they signed that you consider big money, like a Corbin Burns that
Randy
actually? That actually worked out for him.
Yeah, because that's a very good point. But see, here, this is what upsets me. The Diamondbacks have spent over $200 million on a guy named Zach Greinke. That didn't pan out. They spent big money on Mad Bomb, Jordan Montgomery, Eduardo Rodriguez, and now they've gone and spent $210 million on Corbin Burns. And in the meantime, in between time, when the Diamondbacks had a great playoff push when they signed some guy named J.D. Martinez, who was just electric. Dude, That's the guy I'm looking to resign. I'm not trying. I mean, he's a guy I can roll out every day, not once every 5 days.
Yeah.
And so I just don't like what they do there. And so Paul Goldschmidt, another guy that, look, he was on the decline, no doubt. He wasn't the same guy, but his glove is every bit as valuable to him, this team, as his bat was. Now, we didn't know that Christian Walker was going to turn into that guy, but they let these position guys go when they have them. Dude, there's no way I would have let J.D. Martinez. Matter of fact, I even went into I remember when they had their cleaning out their locker after they were eliminated. I went in, I told J.D., dude, you have to re-sign with the Diamondbacks. I want, and so he's laughing at me, but I'm being dead serious.
Yeah. He had Boris too, right?
I gotta have you back, and so he winds up signing with the Red Sox. And so, but you just can't allow dynamics like that to get away. I mean, it's foolhardy. I mean, it reminded me of Robert Sarver's days with the Suns. I mean, so dude, you have to bring back Joe Johnson, and you don't. I mean,
but see, for every Robert Sarver move, the Joe Johnson one, I mean, they're in the throes of making runs to the Western Conference Finals and all that. There's an Amari Stoudemire, to where at the end of the day, when you look back, that was the right decision to make.
No, it wasn't.
It was the right decision to make.
Are you high?
That's a right. That's a right.
To let Joe Johnson go?
No. I'm talking about Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire. Yeah, you got 2 years out of him.
Oh, okay.
You had to pay him for 5.
Yeah, and the Knicks.
But
If
you're on this end, looking back and going, okay, yeah, it really sucked. Hey, we could add him for 2 more years if you had that money. I'm not arguing the Joe Johnson thing was ridiculous.
Right.
Hey, what are you talking? What were you talking about? $10 million, $5 million?
Yeah, it was $5 million, dude. $5 million.
Yeah.
You waste more than that getting out of bed in the morning when you get to that point. So my issue with the Diamondbacks is the Corbin Burns signing is the one of the example you gave that you should be okay with. Corbin Burns was one of the best, if not the best pitchers, in the American League. Never missed a game, coming in his prime. Going to come in here, you spend the money on those guys, the Montgomerys, the Mad Bums, the Greinke's, back end of their career. You're overpaying them. Yeah. Nobody else is paying them that amount. Those should be red flags to pay those guys that much. Corbin Burns was the opposite, which then leads me to the organizational side. The injuries on this Diamondbacks teams tells you they're not prepared to play.
Yeah, and I don't even know where you go with this. I just think that the glut of injuries, particularly Tommy John, and I think I'm going to buy Dale's theory on that, because I mean I don't see any other teams with that inordinate number of Tommy John injuries.
I saw a stat earlier. I won't be able to pop it up, but I saw it earlier. The Diamondbacks actually were one of the few teams that didn't have a glut of Tommy John injuries leading into this year, and now they kind of went the opposite. They made up for it this year, so it was excessive, but it happens out there, right? But I mean, back in the day, pitchers would pitch 9 innings, right? Complete game, 9 innings. They'd pitch on the side. Then when the offseason happened, they'd take a month off, and then they'd start throwing again. Nowadays, pitchers don't do that type of stuff. They take their time off. They get pushed because, there's a playoff push coming, and, we don't want them to feel bad the day after their start, so we have to go bullpen game. And you're babying them from that perspective cannot be healthy
Bruce,
for your arms.
And it's a great topic, and maybe it's something that we address as a whole, but we were talking before you got here about football injuries. And they don't play in the preseason. Right. They don't practice in pads. Right. You can only have 10 practices over 4 months in pads, and when you put them on, you don't hit. So offensive line blocking goes down. These not soft tissue injuries, non-contact injuries happen more often because your body's not used to that. Same thing in baseball. These guys, I always would say if I'm a baseball player and I get off to a slow start every year, like Paul Goldschmidt used to confound me. Right. Oh yeah, he always gets off to slow, and then it comes about, in the middle of the season or whatever. I'm like, well, change your off-season routine. Because if you come into the season bat and you're starting off the season batting 300, then it's easier to go up to 330 than it is starting off the season at 200 because it's a slow start for 7 straight years. Change your all-season routine.
Yeah.
And we'll get into the football injuries, but
Well,
that's ridiculous.
yeah, but that's kind of my problem with the Diamondbacks as well as an organization. They go to the World Series run. They come back that year, and we made fun of it here. It's like yesterday. Gallen was sitting there every time. Well, I'm not. They were missing starters. Were missing starts in preseason in training spring training. Thank you. Because we put 30 extra innings on my arm on that World Series run last year, so we got to prepare for the playoffs. And then this year they quelled that a little bit, but then they started saying things like, well, it's a long season. We need to ramp up into the season. So April, we don't win it in April, so we need to ramp up through April and be ready to play come June, July, August.
Yeah.
It's just this organizational BS. And then, as I said before you got here, Ken Kendrick yesterday with his interview, keep Torrey, don't keep Torrey. He's not the problem. He's part of the problem, but he's not the problem. Keep him, don't keep him. There's an owner here now that we have learned likes the way the organization's run right now. He likes the fact that his players aren't pushed. He likes the fact that they don't push hard for the playoffs. They have, if not three, they have at least two of the best players in baseball on this Diamondbacks team right now. Perdomo, Marte.
Yeah.
Throw Corbin Carroll in there, maybe for the third, right? Or something to that effect. This team should be in the playoffs every year. They have a better roster than the Reds. They have more talent overall than the Mets do, which just, of course, faltered and left off there, right? They have similar talent to San Diego. It's a step down from San Diego, but they can compete with San Diego, right? They've shown they can do that. They're better talent overall than the Cubs. And this owner yesterday went on the radio and made excuses for why his team is like it is. That's not an owner that cares about winning and wants to win here, in my opinion. And that's what was most disappointing yesterday.
Yeah, look, the New York Mets were 21 games over 500 at one point. You said
Pete Alonso,
they're locked in.
Yeah.
They went on this precipitous fall. I mean, New York Mets are walking around with bags over their heads today. But at least their ownership can come out and with a razor blade tongue.
He went to Twitter literally hours after they were eliminated. Steve Cohen, the owner, and thank you, fans. We're gonna get this fixed. Whatever. Went right to Twitter. Ken Kendrick waits till yesterday and pussyfoots around about Torey Lovullo coming back.
Yeah, and this is what really bothers me the most. And I left here a week ago, the old building, and I'm said, man, Dale hit the nail on the head. I mean, Torey Lovullo, you cannot throw a bullpen game that late in the season in a pennant race. Well, you just cannot.
Bruce, this is a team that did bullpen games leading up and into the World Series.
I got that, and so Mike Hazen took the bullet for that. He fell on the sword and said, "That's my fault." So, but then to come back here a week later and learn that this was an organizational decision, which meant that it went through the owner as well, as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. And they say, "Okay, dude, what part of wanting to win doesn't, drive you?"
Well, did you see the interview with Zach Allen? Because they interviewed Zach Allen
after he pitched on was it Saturday?
Yeah, whenever he pitched.
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, he said, I was ready to go, but I just work here and I do what they tell me to do.
He used the term, "I'm just a worker bee."
Yeah. And they told me I wasn't pitching, so I pitched whenever they tell me to pitch.
Okay, so someone has to explain to me, because I'm gonna give Torey Lovullo the pass because it went over his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't blame Zach Gallen
We've known that for months,
because he's just the player.
Yeah.
Right.
Who is making that decision?
Yep.
I mean, dude,
Yeah.
you're tied. Or basically, you're one game behind. If the Diamondbacks had won that game, they would have actually been in the lead
because the
driver's
control
seat.
their own destiny.
Yes.
And you threw a bullpen game, dude. I mean, someone needs to be held accountable.
Okay,
for that.
so
That's my point.
so the thing that I brought up the day after that, if if it was Bob Melvin who was coaching the Diamondbacks back when Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling were here, and they're making a push towards the playoffs.
It was Bob Brenly.
Bob Brenly, and somebody comes to him, Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and say, "Hey, we're gonna push you back a day. We're gonna do a bullpen day."
Mutiny.
Yeah. Well, do you think that's gonna go over?
No, it's not going to work.
Well, I mean, I look back to what was that Game 7 in the World Series where one of them's coming out of the bullpen, right,
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen today with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. I mean, after the Diamondbacks had to win Game 6.
That's what,
Yeah.
And so they said, "Look,
That's what it was.
I'm going back. I'm going back out there for Game 7 too the next day. I mean, this is all or nothing.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
got
that-
off season to rest.
Yeah. That's what. But and so Dale, that's what bothers me the most about, because when I'm telling you, when he threw that bullpen game, I'm really critical of Torey Lovullo. How can you? Now I find out that it's people above him. It's like, dude, what part of wanting to win for your fans and for yourselves
Yes.
and the organization don't you understand?
How many focus groups do you need? How many focus groups do you need to make a baseball decision?
How many nerds on
You
computers
know.
doing analytics do you need to tell you you're making the wrong choice?
It's
the question.
it's disheartening.
Well, I will defend the Diamondbacks on this front. Dave Roberts with the Dodgers does not make decisions either. You know, and they've struggled in the playoffs. They've lost in the playoffs a lot.
But I
because
don't
of
believe
the same type of a
look.
situation.
The Dodgers and granted they have the money to spend.
Yes.
They'll spend the money. But here's the deal. I don't think that they ever make decisions that interfere with winning. I
well,
just don't believe that.
they don't have a hot hitter, and then they inexplicably he's had 2 great games of hitting, and then they take him out of the lineup to cool him down. Because he's been hitting hot the last couple of days and on fire, but he needs a break, so we need to take him out of the.
We got a
Nobody does
right-hander
that
coming
anymore.
up now, yeah.
Nobody does that except for the Diamondbacks. I watch a lot of baseball. The Yankees don't get managed that way. The Cubs don't get managed that way. Cleveland doesn't get managed that way. There's some of that. There's some of that out there, guys. There is. It's not.
Well,
the Diamondbacks are there. The
analytics
Diamondbacks-
has its place, but I mean, at
Diamondbacks
some
take it to another level.
Right.
Yeah.
At some point, and I think we talked about here on this show as well. I mean, look, the Diamondbacks had a crucial game against the San Francisco Giants. They're in a position to sweep, and we see a beautifully pitched game, a complete game. Matter of fact, it's 0-0.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon Font was the man,
Yeah.
and so the Diamondbacks have a chance to win this game.
Yeah.
It's bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 1 out. And I'm telling you, you have a chance to, James McCann,
Yep.
more of a contact hitter than,
He can lay down a butt.
than Adrian Del Castillo,
or
who's more of the boomer bust guy.
Exactly.
And
Young guy.
and he went up and he bust strikeout.
That's one of those
Dude,
instances, though, where everybody at home, Bruce, was like, "What are you doing that?" And then after the game, and then that's the situation where Torrey says he has control over. That was Torrey's decision.
Sure, that was because you know what he does. And that's what I said. I said at the time, I love to see him manage more with his gut as opposed to always trying to play the percentages.
He did that early in his career and had success.
Yeah.
And then it just switched on him from that side. But I mean, the other side of it is, you know, as we wrap up this hour here, and we can probably get back into it again. But you know, keep this food for thought. I brought it up. Everybody brings up the World Series year, and that wasn't a perfect year for the Diamondbacks. Same issues we have today happened in the regular season. They got hot in the playoffs. It went their way. They made it to the world. Give them the credit for that. But you got to look at the season as a whole. The same team that they just played in the World Series and won it have a manager that they know really well as well, and they moved on from him yesterday. And the Diamondbacks say they can't evaluate Torey Lovullo based off of his season this year. Utter garbage from Ken Kendrick yesterday. We'll talk about that and more. Cardinals, get Bruce's thoughts on that Cardinals game the last Thursday as well. And the injuries around the
Does
Cardinals.
he remember
Bruce.
that far back?
I know, right?
Coop's old.
Trey Benson's hurt right now, so we have a running back problem with the Cardinals. All that and more, second hour, main event. Come on back, folks, with Bruce Cooper. And we're back here, main event, second hour here on this Tuesday with the great, the legend himself.
Dale
He's
Hillary.
still a threat.
Sweet. I paused for that reason right there. Dale's a man, a myth, a legend in his own mind, of course.
Wow.
And everything. Look, it's you do nothing. You've worn off on me, Dale. So
Yeah.
it's, Bruce has still got that polish a little bit
that new car smell.
So let me set this up here as we wrap up the baseball side of things with the Diamondbacks. And it sounds like, for the most part, we're all okay with Torrey coming back. It was just an organizational change needs to happen that apparently isn't. I think that's where my disappointment comes from. And this is what disappoints me even more is I went to a couple games this year. I bought tickets, went with the family, etc., which I generally don't do for the Diamondbacks for a lot of reasons. And, in 50,000 more people overall for the season showed up for this team this year for a team that was utter disappointing all season long. Utter disappointment. So 2,393,973 fans went to Chase Field this year. 50,000 more from 2024 as well, which obviously was after the World Series year. This team, it wasn't, the end of the year they got kind of exciting because the Mets faltered and they picked it up, time for the situation. But this team was straight garbage in the first half of the year. The fans showed up, and the thanks that Ken Kendrick and this organization's telling their fans right now that I see it as is, we got you. You're going to come whether we're good or not. We're going to come whether Marte plays or not. We're going to come whether Marte gets on a plane and goes out of town and doesn't tell us. We're going to go to bullpen games. We're going to cut payroll this year. Y'all are going to show up. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us while we continue to flounder as an organization. That's the message I get. Am I reading too much into it?
I think you're going a little too overboard there, and I think this is what Ken Kendrick is trying to sell to the fans. Look, we had a roster that we felt was one that was going to get us in the postseason, but we had an inordinate, just a glut of injuries. Now, injuries, I'm not trying to make an excuse. It's just a fact.
Right.
Look, I even question their medical staff, or what are they doing? Of course, Dale kind of set me straight on that, and I kind of buy his philosophy there. But I think that's what he's trying to sell. And as me being, if I'm a fan, I'm going to buy it because that's a fact. He's not trying to gaslight me. They're not trying to pull the wool over my eye. And so
okay, but what change? What change are they making? Because before the injuries, April, May last year, before all the injuries, they were terrible. They were making errors in the field. They were doing all of that stuff. What change are the Diamondbacks making? I get having to pull back because of injuries, stuff like that. What change are the Diamondbacks making where it's going to be different next year?
Well, that's the thing that you have to trust and say that, hey, I believe in these players' professional pride. I believe
I'm not worried about the players other than Marte.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I like this lineup. I think they're going to have success next year as a young team.
Well,
I think they are.
I think they need to make some decisions on those corner infield positions.
Yes. There's some question marks. Don't get me wrong, but overall,
and I like the speed and defense that they provide in the outfield. Outside of Corbin Carroll's bat, I have major issues because you're going to start the season without Loris Gurriel's bat.
Yep.
So
I think Blaze will make up for it. If Blaze comes in,
well,
like he's finished it, I think Blaze will come in and fill that spot pretty well in the outfield and all that stuff.
Okay, so that means you're going to throw Jordan Lawler as your starting third baseman.
Yeah, I prefer you upgrade that a little bit, to be honest with you, but I'd be fine with it.
Okay, so who are you going at first base? Let me tell you something. The Locklear, I believe is his name, that they got in the trade.
He's not ready.
I'm not sold on him. Yeah. Now, I'm okay with Pavin Smith as a left-hander, but they're starting to platoon that, and I think it's not a bad idea. But so I think there's questions there, and there are people out in free agency that the Diamondbacks can go get. And keep in mind, they have some young talent that is coveted by other teams, and it takes me back to the year they traded Dalton Varsho to the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah. They got two starters out of that, Gurriel and Gabby Moreno behind the plate. They have some talent that they can trade and try to bring some people back.
The thing I'd say on first base is, why not get ADC over there? Del Castillo. he's obviously not going to be catching for this team anytime soon with Moreno back there and that stuff. So why not get him some platoon time there at first base and get his bat in the lineup? Is what I'm saying.
Well, here's the deal. I think we've been spoiled with the gloves of
Yes.
Goldschmidt and Walker, and I mean even just the simple plays that a grounder comes to first, the runner's running from first to second. You're trying to turn and pivot and make that throw to second, get the relay back to first. I mean, those plays were botched.
Well, I mean, people were complaining about Naylor playing first base because he wasn't getting the balls like the Gold Glovers were getting.
And so I think when you go back and you look at what made the Diamondbacks really special during that 23 season, not only was it the embracing the chaos that they put pressure on other teams defensively, but they also made the plays defensively. I mean, Christian Walker was like a vacuum. I mean, he made all the right plays. I mean, not giving a team extra outs is huge. Turning a potential hit into an out is huge. And so I think I'd love to see the Diamondbacks get back to defensive run saves and embracing the chaos when they put pressure on the teams. I think that's when they're at their best. And so having said that, I think they need to make some moves.
Tell me this. Do you entertain the thought of trading Ketel Marte?
I do. Because really
I've said that, and I think we may have talked about it, but the clubhouse is a big thing in this too.
Sure.
And now, do you believe what you heard, that it was addressed? Ketel apologized to his teammates.
Well, we heard him do that.
Yeah, and was that heartfelt, or have things changed?
That's a question that we can't answer.
Right.
But I will say this, that I think Ketel can give you your biggest return. And so I know Steve has said this, that you're not going to get the same value back in return.
Most.
Yeah, and so having said that, Blaze Alexander can play second. I know you're trying to get him.
Well, so can
his
Tala
back-
too,
his-
I guess. Yeah.
And so I'm okay with trading him, but here's the deal: when his bat's on, he can really carry you. And so when our offense is sputtering, and we don't have a Ketel Marte, then that's when you're saying, gosh darn it, you're going to miss him. So, but you have to be decisive going in. You have to know going in. Okay, am I going to? Is the culture of my team going to improve by me getting rid of him?
Yeah. Right.
Can I bring in someone who's going to go from first to third? Now, can I bring in someone who's going to run out hard a ground ball to first base? Because those are things you don't really get from Ketel.
Right.
Well, you get it occasionally. That's
it's
the problem,
sporadic,
right?
it's sporadic.
But that's my issue, right? So Ketel Marte apologized to his teammate, fouls that ball off. Now, it was a while ago now, but they were in their hunt, kind of flirting with staying in it, kind of going out of it. Remember, Ketel Marte fouled that ball off his shin where he has a pad on it. Next day, he's out of the line. He was in the lineup, scratched. And then Torrey goes on for his coach's show and says, well, we want to give him an extra day. Then why did you put him in the lineup and then scratch him, right? I wonder if then that happens. So what I would be curious on, and like you said, it's going to have to come out through media reports and people with relationships. But and then like I said, it was Blaze Alexander takes that ball off his elbow in there the next game. So it's easy to apologize, but then you foul a ball off where you have shin guards and stuff, and then you take the next day off after being in the lineup. They scratch you late to go in there. That could set back the locker room at that point. We haven't heard any of those rumors that it was negative in there, but it's just simple. You can apologize all you want, but if you keep not pushing through minor ailments, it's going to affect the team.
Yeah, and his glove, balls that are hit to his right, and he uses his backhand and try to make the play. I mean, sometimes they're just simple backhand plays. I mean, he's not as adept at making that play as we've seen that other people, whether it's Jordan Lawler, who was there for a minute.
It's because he doesn't put the effort out. That's the problem. He can do it. I'm going to use the term lazy. I don't know if that's the proper term. But he's casual.
I like that.
He's casual.
I like that. I've had that thought myself watching him play. I'm like, dude, really? It just seems like his effort is not always there.
Yes,
You know?
it's intense at times, and then it's I'm gonna take this back. He's like the right fielder that every once in a while lazily, catches the ball down at his body instead of up top, and it just because he's casual and does all that. Andrew Jones type back in the day, if you know Atlanta Braves fans, remember that as well. Robert says, "Dang, I've agreed with Coop so far. I may need to lie down." Last thing I want to talk about Diamondbacks here in terms of this organizational side. I'm pushing this narrative because I believe in it firmly, but you have the Twins unloading their manager. 3 division titles in I think it was 7 years. They decimated that roster. They literally sold off everybody on the Twins. I think they have 2 guys under long-term contracts on the Twins after the season ends. They got rid of everybody selling the team. 3 division titles, moved on from him. The Texas Rangers, 2023 world champions, added payroll to the thing, very similar to the Diamondbacks, underperformed, missed the playoffs the last couple of years, tons of injuries on the Rangers as well. And they said, you know what, we're going to move on from you, Bruce Bochy, as well, right? So 2 guys. After 9 years, the Diamondbacks are still trying to sell us. Well, we can't judge Torrey on just last year because of the injuries.
Yeah.
You know what you got after 9 years. We all know what we got after 9 years.
Yeah.
Why do we keep selling that narrative on that side of things?
And that goes back to what I said. They just need to come out and be more decisive. They
were very decisive, Bruce. They decided to keep them immediately. It doesn't get more decisive than that.
Yeah, look, you've had him for this. He'll be going into year 10.
Yeah.
And there's no surprise. You know who he is. You either extend this man or you give him his pink paper.
I'll just end it by saying this: the Diamondbacks have their yes man, and that's Torrey. He'll do whatever, obviously, the GM wants and the group of consultants wants, the analytic guys want. It's very hard to move on from somebody that does what you want and then takes the arrows for you. That's how I'll leave that. Any other Diamondbacks talk or anything? We're going to include you in our picks here. Is that cool?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
10 a.m. today, Detroit at Cleveland. Tigers wild card round coming up here. Detroit, big meltdown. Cleveland came in and won their way into this playoffs here. I got Cleveland winning this series. Obviously, best of 3 wild card round here. I like the format of it as well. Get it done quickly and see what happens. I got Cleveland winning this series.
Well, look, if there was a team that was close to imploding the way the Mets did, it would have been the Detroit
Detroit would have been
Tigers.
worse because 15.5 game lead would have been the worst
But
explosion.
they held on. They're a playoff team, and so you know what? I'm going to take the Tigers.
You're going to go Tigers on that one. All right, perfect.
That first pitch is in what?
10 o'clock.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes. They're getting ready to go. Again, I don't think that all of a sudden one day goes away after the regular season, that horrendous slide, and there's going to be a brand new team.
They're going to be motivated.
Yeah,
they're going to be like, oh, that was just a joke.
I'm going to take Cleveland.
Could you imagine they wake up today, they dominate this and win by 40 runs the next time, right? Then you got San Diego, Chicago. I'm excited.
Who'd you take?
I took Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for paying attention, Dave.
Yeah.
We got San Diego and the Cubs here. Noon first pitcher. I'm excited for this series. This is probably, other than the next one we're going to talk about, this is probably the next wild card series that I'm super excited about here coming up.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Cubs are America's team, so they'll be
In their
the team
minds.
that everybody's rooting for.
Yes.
But
They're
tell you
favorites, by the way. They're favorites in this series.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, absolutely, no question. I think I like in the National League, I like the Padres roster next to the Dodgers when the Dodgers are healthy. So give me the Padres because I like their roster.
Brucey, I think you're the only person as old as I am to remember. Do you remember the 1984 Padres Cubs series? Rick Sutcliffe was pitching, and the Cubs had a magical season, and they're up 2-0 on the Padres, and they ended up losing 3-2. It's like it was yesterday because I grew up loving the Cubs. Boy, it's just I love the Cubs more when they lose. I think they're lovable losers.
I agree.
But I would agree with Coop that the Padres have the better roster from top to bottom. But give me the Cubs. Just to be different from Coop.
Yeah, he likes to do that. I agree. I think the Padres starting pitching is going to be the difference in this. I mean, they have the better talent, the Padres do. I think their starting pitching is going to be the difference in this series, to be honest with you. In a 3-game series, if it was 7, it might be a little bit different. But in a short series, Padres, not just their starters, but then their bullpen, they added some really good guys at the trade deadline.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Padres are going to easily get through the Cubs here. But I think this is going to be a fun series. And it starts off in Chicago, no less. So that fan base is going to be a little crazy there. The other series I'm super looking forward to, 3 p.m. today, Boston Yankees. In this series, Boston can win this series. I'm going to be clear on that. They can come in here and win it.
You
The
know,
Yankees are going to do it, though, because of the manager.
Yeah, Boston has played really well down the stretch. And you talk about it. You always look for those teams that
They played their way in.
Yeah, and so they're one of those teams. But I'm gonna tell you something. As much as I don't mind seeing the Yankees lose, man, they have a murderer's row type, and there's a former Diamondback that is really I think
You mentioned him a couple times today.
yeah has
Well,
made
is
made a
Aaron
difference.
Judge going to be a playoff Aaron Judge, or is it going to be regular season Aaron Judge?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna take the Yankees.
Only reason I lean Yankees in this one, because I believe with the hotness of the Boston, is here's the other side of it. Yankees have had a lot of pitching injuries this year as well. You know what? They made the playoffs. They're not blaming their starting Garrett Cole going down before the season starts. They're not blaming injuries for they're not winning that division this year like the Diamondbacks are doing. Dale, who do you got?
Well, they also have a $300 million payroll. Just for that, I've never liked the pinstripes. Give me the Red Sox.
And then Cincy Dodgers. I mean, congratulations. The manager of the Reds should be the manager of the Diamondbacks today. It should have happened last year as well. He's one of the best managers of all time. Love him to death. Arizona guy as well. Took this young team. Dodgers, they're saying Ohtani could go in game 3 if they need him, if it's necessary there. Since he's had a great run, made the playoffs this year. But enjoy your couple games here and then go enjoy your offseason. Dodgers are running away with this.
Yeah, I don't want to say the Reds backed their way in, but
They earned their way in.
Yeah,
No, they earned their
yeah.
way in. Yeah.
And so I will say this: is Will Smith healthy?
Define healthy. He can play,
He can play.
but I don't know how. That's my problem. Mookie Betts in and out of the lineup all year. There's a lot of issues with the Dodgers. I just think the pitchers, this limelight. Blake Snell starts tonight against Hunter Green.
And
I
did you
just think
say
it goes
Kershaw's
first.
not even on the playoff roster?
Not in this round. They readjusted.
He's not on their
around.
playoff
They
roster.
took him off the roster for the wild card.
Whoa.
Well, because they wouldn't need him. You only need 3 starters technically, so they wouldn't have needed him.
Well, I thought he had moved to the bullpen.
Well, that's what they're going to do. Yeah, move him to the bullpen for the thing, but not in this round. Yeah.
Well, that makes zero sense.
Have you seen the Dodgers bullpen? They have every. Give the Diamondbacks credit. I mean, it's hard to build a bullpen when your counterparts are 6 hours away. Have every bullpen guy in the decency in the league.
Well,
on
I'm
their team.
taking the Dodgers anyway, but I don't understand the
unless
Kershaw
they
decision.
added him late. They were not putting him on.
That makes
the
that
lineup.
makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, you don't need him in this round. They're gonna
Dude,
dominate the
you
Reds.
never know when you're going to need him.
That's the problem. Well, here's the other thing. Clayton Kershaw's been terrible in the playoffs.
He's like Aaron Judge
Yes.
on the mound.
I mean, that's the other thing. Maybe you don't want Kershaw to go this round. From that side, yeah, he won't be. He's not on the Dodgers roster. It's just a wild card. He can be added next time and stuff like that. But they were talking about moving him to the bullpen. Ohtani said he would be willing to go to the bullpen as well if needed to go. Now, right now, like I said, he's scheduled for Game 3 if they need it.
Well,
Ohtani is,
Look,
but
they're going to go Snell and Yamamoto, and that's all, and it's going to be
yeah, it's gonna
2-0
be done.
sweep.
That's what I think on the Reds too. Dale.
Don't you remember that 2 years ago the Dodgers got swept by some team?
Well, the year before,
Yeah,
did they get swept by the Padres in the NL?
Hey, I loved that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
that was one of the. And look, it didn't to me after the Diamondbacks had swept the Dodgers. After beating the Brewers, I said, look, they've already won the World Series for me. They don't even need to beat the Phillies. I mean, let the Phillies, and they beat the freaking Phillies. I mean, it was such a magical ride. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, well, we can relive it next year, maybe.
but go ahead and give me the Dodgers. I think the Reds exacted way too much energy to try and get to where they are. Right
I
now.
want to see. I just forgot his name. The superstar for the Reds, shortstop that throws the ball 100 miles an hour.
Oh,
I want to say Del Castillo. but that's
De La
not it.
Cruz?
De La Cruz. This is his coming out party, right? National scene. I know he's well known. I know a lot of people like him because he's young and energetic and stuff.
Oh, he's special.
I want to see, but he also makes a lot of mistakes.
does.
So I want to see what the reaction is to him on a national level here. 6 p.m. start time today and tomorrow for them. I want to see kind of what the reaction is for the casual baseball fans that don't watch a lot of Reds baseball. They just see the highlights because he's kind of got a little Marte in him. He's dominant and he's fantastic. And then every once in a while, you're like, what are you doing out there?
Look, I think it's a huge difference. He gives you effort. He tries. He just may make a mental mistake based on his youth or inexperience. Marte has a
We're still using the term casual.
yeah.
So we
There,
don't
there
get
you
yelled
go.
at.
Yeah,
Casual.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I
There you
changed
go.
it from lazy to casual.
Yeah, there you go. He has a casual problem.
So it's our first round wild card playoff picks here. The couple of these series, usually the wild card round, Bruce, I'm just like, whatever, who cares? Just get through it. Let's get to the real playoffs. I'm actually excited for a couple of these matchups here.
Well, look, if you have someone that's in there like the Diamondbacks a couple years ago, and you invested, and then you love the wild card round. Look, I do love baseball going this route because before it was either division winner or go home.
Yeah.
And this has certainly added more flavor, more excitement. And
I enjoy more playoff teams until you get to the point where under 500 teams get into the playoffs, and then I can't stand it.
well,
That's my
well,
limit.
if you're on your way in via a wild card under 500 or a division winner under 500, then hey, man.
Well, division winner's
I'm
a
not-
separate deal. You win your division, you deserve to be in the playoffs, even if you've only won like one game a year. You know, so, yeah.
Look, I don't applaud the baseball on much, but I do applaud them on this. So I'll disagree with you on that. I like more.
How many years did we see when we were growing up a team win 99 games
And not get in.
and not get in? You know, it was kind of crazy.
Well, that's the thing, and it just kind of makes everything irrelevant. Diamondbacks were in this playoff hunt because you have three wild card spots available, right? And then on top of it, then the Mets meltdown.
But
Years
see,
past,
but-
it would have
but-
been. They wouldn't have been anywhere close.
Yeah,
it would have
yeah.
been boring.
But see, it gave you something to talk about
Yeah,
locally.
I know.
It gave
Thank you.
fans something to get interested in and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, but ultimately 2 games under 500 on the season, and we're celebrating that. Like, good effort, guys.
No, I don't think anyone is
Good
celebrating.
efforts.
Look. They lost their last 5. I mean, and it all started with that bullpen
Yeah,
decision.
well, it started the night before when they lost in the extra innings by those decisions that were made there. And then I think the bullpen game was they punted on that game, and they gave up on that game. And then once they punted on that game, the other 3 were done. They had no effort.
But that brings me back. Why would you punt
I don't-
with 4 games left on the schedule? You're punting one of the
I-
4 games left on the schedule, and you're in the hunt.
Have that be your last question to Gary Girolamo today, and when he gets mad at you and kicks you out, that'll be your last question. And get me the FM on that. We'll get the answer on that and the reaction. How about that? All right. When we come back, let's get into it. ASU talk, of course, Friday night. Cardinals as well with Bruce Cooper. Come on back, folks. And we're back here. We should record the breaks here and the arguments during the break as well. Coming up here, right? But, of course, appreciate everybody tuning in today and everything. And Arizona Cardinals, speaking of them, we'll hit them up first here since they played last Thursday. It's kind of old news, but we got some stuff just hitting on Twitter right now. They're coming out with a state-of-the-art, world-class facilities coming in 2028.
Whoa,
So
time out.
brand new training facility in
Where?
North Phoenix, west of Scottsdale Road, is where it's going into. So moving from Tempe
What?
to North Phoenix.
What?
Wow.
What?
Yep.
Coop.
Are you freaking kidding
You
me?
have to drive farther to get there now,
Look,
too.
Steve. I know it's early for me, but look, bro, say that one more time.
North Phoenix, off west of Scottsdale Road. And not only that, it's going to anchor a mixed-use development site, 30 acres, 250,000 square feet, natural grass outdoor practice fields, a field house, expanded and modern locker room, modern locker room,
wow, a
and
field
premier
house.
spaces for athletic training, sports medicine, strength and conditioning. That's what they're doing. 2028 new practice facility. I will say this: their Tempe facilities are completely outdated.
Look, let
and
me tell you
garbage.
something. Look.
But yeah.
Byron Murphy, former Swirl, went to UW, then drafted by the Cardinals, played here, and so he signed a free
Minnesota
agent.
now, right?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I didn't know you were going there. Yeah, I know.
What he puts out about I mean, look, there is a humongous difference between their practice facilities and how they get what they
To
provide
be
for their
fair,
players.
Minnesota's is the best in the NFL. They're one or two, so there's but I mean, it's a huge difference. It's. I mean, well, you see the ratings all the time. Cardinals locker room. Well, Cardinals locker room was rated, I think, the worst, if not the worst, one of the worst out there. Uneven floors, which why you have uneven floors in a gym, I don't know. When you're walking around with weights, nothing like rolling an ankle, right, Dale? Yeah, carrying some big weights and stuff like that. And then he's like, well, it takes time to upgrade it. And then Washington gets a new owner. They have a brand new locker room, brand new weight room, and all that stuff within a year of the new owner coming in. And Michael Bidwell's like, but maybe this is what he's been waiting for, 2028.
2028.
2028, building a new practice facility
I am
up there.
absolutely stunned and excited at the same time. My
You
goodness.
know, it's interesting when you talk about some of these college facilities. I know you were going with that. That they're recruiting tools. You know, you go up and visit UW, and then you go see ASU or you go see somebody else, and the stark difference in where you're going every day.
I think
And not so much in the NFL to where you're drafted by somebody or whatever, and you got to go play for them until you become a free agent. But it's a stark difference.
I've seen some high draft picks go to NFL teams and then just casually say how like it's a downgrade from what they'd had in college.
Especially you coming from Oregon.
Oregon,
Ohio
UW, Alabama, Ohio
Yeah.
State, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some players like casually say it, and then everybody gets up in an uproar because they don't mean anything. They don't mean to be negative about it, but they get negative about it. So breaking news there. Ethan tagged us on that as well coming here. But last Thursday, so I mean, I'll say this about the practice facility. Michael Bidwell's been at the bottom of these rankings for several years now, stuff to that effect. He keeps saying it's going to get better, and he's got plans for it. We're finally seeing those plans coming forward. So I'll give him credit for that. It's just I don't know why it takes so long. I know building stuff takes long. I get that. But
Scottsdale.
it's been 2 to 3 years, which,
Wow.
well, you got all that empty land up there, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But also, I mean, are the players, right? You know, players live around the practice field. They don't live out in Glendale. by
No,
the state.
I think a lot of players live in Ahwatukee.
Ahwatukee,
They
That's what
do
I
just
mean,
because
so-
of the practice
Yeah.
thing.
That's what I mean,
They'll
so-
probably have to check with their mortgage people
exactly.
now.
Right.
Their
Well, that's the thing.
landlords.
They live where they practice. That's why the Coyotes had the ice stand up in Scottsdale, and all the players lived up in that area. So, but last Thursday night, Coop, Cardinals, Seahawks. I know it's a stretch of our memories now, but Seahawks get the 23-20 victory on this stuff. We obviously covered a lot of it on Friday about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s ugly drops, but we gave him a lot of credit for his comeback as well. A lot of people, blame this on Kyler Murray. A lot of people.
How can you blame it on Kyler
they-
Murray?
they do.
People, what the heck is wrong with you? Did you watch the game? For crying out loud! My God. Now, look, I'll say this about Kyler Murray. I hearken back a few years ago when they got off to that great start, and he's throwing bombs. I mean, to Christian Kirk for touchdowns, bombs to
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he's like leading the league in deep.
He was in the
percentage-
MVP conversation.
Right. And so now, I don't know this for a fact, but it just seems to me that when Gannon brought his people in, they looked at all the film and they taped and they said, Kyler. And look, I don't know this for a fact. This is just what goes through my mind. I say, Kyler, you make a lot of great plays from an ad lib standpoint, but you also make some crucial mistakes during that. Look, we want you to dial back your creativity, if you will. We want you to be more under control. So we're going to give you these checks out here to where we want you to methodically hit those checks and get us down. And so I don't know this, but it just seems like ever since Gannon and his crew have come in, we've seen Murray not
Drew
be
Penze,
he's not being the guy who plays with a lot of ad lib enthusiasm or creativity. You know, they wanted him to dial it back, and in terms of him dialing it back, we've seen more check city.
Yeah,
Because we don't see him throw the ball down deep nearly as much as we used to.
There have been people out there, me one of them, that says this is a check down offense. So they don't care about their wide receivers in this offense. It's tight end, running backs out of the backfield, Greg Dortch, as a quote unquote receiver, screen stuff like that. But one thing I've noticed in person this year with the 2 home games is the receivers don't know what to do when the play breaks down. And it's not just Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
It's other receivers. Like everybody else, you have one guy go, one guy runs towards the run, comes back to the quarterback. There was a play the other night in this game after Marvin Harrison already dropped a couple where Kyler scrambled outside because the offensive line, he had no time to throw. He had to scramble out. And he went like this. He literally went like this. It was Marvin Harrison and Wilson were underneath him. And he was telling Marvin Harrison to go deep. Marvin Harrison stopped, looked at him, turned around and went to run. A defender was in front of him and just stopped. And Kyler Murray had to run out of bounds. It's like they don't know what to do in those and that was an emphasis this offseason. The Cardinals said they're going to focus on those broke up plays. I'm not seeing it. Now, I watch the all 22s on the all game, but in person, I'm definitely not seeing the receivers know where to go when the plays go.
I'm watching last night, and Justin Fields is on the run. He's on the move, and yes, he's finding people that are coming open. And to your point, you don't really see that with the Cardinals. I think probably Trey McBride is probably the best at trying to find an open area.
They're
stuff.
double covering him, triple covering him right now.
And so I would agree there. But look, I hear Jonathan Gannon talk about, we need more explosive. Well, dude, let your quarterback be creative. Let him, do and see. And this drives me crazy. It just drives me crazy. As athletic as Kyler Murray is, we see very, very seldom do we see any naked boots with the option to run or pass.
You don't do it.
They get down there in that red zone and stuff, and they don't use his creativity, his athletic ability, his assets, to their advantage. And so I'm like, man, I just it drives me crazy. It really does.
A couple things jump out to me. Number one, the naked boots. It puts so much pressure on a defense when the quarterback can run.
Absolutely.
You're not out there with Peyton Manning and go, well, he's not going to run with the football. Kyler Murray can pick up 6 or 7 yards in the blink of an eye if you don't send somebody up. Every team works on scramble drills. The quarterback rolls out to the right. You got to get over to that side of the field. You find an area to sit down in where there's nobody there. Everybody works on that. You don't see it come into play. My number one concern is this offensive line. And I think everything stems from that. Everything stems from when you can't run the football and you can't pass protect. And again, the people that I've tried to tell this to, that on that pass play, there's nobody around him. I said, but the previous 3, there was somebody banging into him or in his face or coming around behind him. And that's just like me. Your face is this microphone, and I go, I don't hit you that time. No. Then I hit you. You get jumpy because you don't know, this is the one where everybody's going to protect me. And that can mess with the quarterback's head.
Yeah, and also what I was watching the game last Thursday, and there was a protection that Adams, the right guard, was supposed to slide and pick up the person coming from the left. He didn't do it, and it blew up the play. Oh. And so then, every time the Cardinals make an explosive or get down in the red zone area, you can bet your bottom dollar the next play or two, there's going to be an offensive penalty, and they're going to be behind the chains. It happens.
Or it's a
every time.
loss of downs because they run the ball off tackle and it gets stuffed and they lose. Not loss of down, lots of yardage. They do it, or they throw it out to the receiver who gets stuffed right away. It's very predictable offense and everything that we have to deal with, right? Around that stuff. But I mean, look at this. I just pulled it up here because this stuck to me when I was watching the game on Thursday. I was at the stadium watching it and stuff like that, right? This is the Cardinals' first quarter drives. I'm just going to point. Now, I will give the Cardinals credit. They got it more explosive in the third and fourth quarter. They were throwing the ball deeper.
Well, but
the first half they
but that goes to my point. You know why? Because now they're behind, and
They're
letting Kyler.
I don't know why they don't do
Kyler
it.
be Kyler.
Yeah, because here's the deal. First play, seven plays, 18 yards for the Cardinals where they punted it. Then the Seahawks had 6 plays, 38 yards. That interception, that play, we know how that went. 7 plays, 28 yards. Seahawks, 9 plays, 77 yards. You see, look at this. Cardinals, 18, 28 yards. And that's just the first quarter, right? Minus 1 yards there before the Cardinals punt. Then they had a 10-play, 40-yard. That led to that other interception there. 4 plays, 9 yards punt. 10 plays, 13 yards into half. They're having 10, 13, 14-play drives and picking up 8 yards.
How do you run 10 plays and only pick up 13 yards?
They do it consistently at the beginning of games.
That seems mathematically impossible.
Right, yeah. And I will say this. When they're coming back in the fourth quarter, do you notice that it's a hurry up?
Yes.
And it's Kyler using his athletic abilities and things like that and his creativity. Yeah. I really think that they have pulled the reins back on this guy to limit some of his
What they think are be his
mistakes.
mistakes. Yeah.
Well, which then leads to the red zone issues, is because if you're pulling out, you're not going to want him to do anything special in the red zone,
right.
and so you pull back. And here's the fourth quarter. This cracks me up to Bruce's point here. Cardinals had 2 drives in the fourth quarter to come back and take the lead or tie it, I should say. 11 plays, 58 yards. Their other one was 16 plays, 57 yards. So all of a sudden they're getting yardage, more bunch of plays, more yardage. And things to that effect. It's like 2 polar things here. And to me, it stems from the offensive coordinator, the way the game is called, the way they're coaching the game. There's a lot of pushback on that from a lot of people for some reason, and I don't get it. It's right in our face. Right in our face.
Did you guys notice the fact that Pensing has gone from the little card to a little bit bigger card? It looks like there's some pictures on it, though.
I firmly believe that because Jonathan Gannon's changed his stance as well about play calling. Remember, he was like, I have no issue with it. And then he kind of walked it back that week. Then after the Seattle game, what did he say? We would need more explosive plays in this offense. Yeah. So there's things behind the scenes going on with Drew Pensing where they're like, look, man, figure this out.
Yeah,
because this is not working, which is a positive sign, I think.
Yeah. I know you guys would have beat the Marvin Harrison drum to death.
Well, give us your thoughts.
But look, when I saw him drop the ball that went off his hands and it was intercepted.
Yep. Bobbled it 3 times.
Yeah, dude. And he only had 1 catch for 8 yards in the first half.
Yeah.
I think when he caught that touchdown, and here's the deal, he went up and he high pointed it, and he caught the ball.
It was the closest.
He didn't allow it to come into his body or
against one of the best defensive backs in the league, Witherspoon. But more importantly, I saw a stat. It was the closest defended play all season long on a touchdown pass. It was like, I don't remember the exact stat, but that's how close the defender was. And it was like a 3% probability of him catching that ball and coming down within a touchdown. So, but he goes from that to dropping wide open passes, stopping on. I swear to God, you learn in Pop Warner football, you never stop on your route. And he stops on routes constantly.
I saw something where it said the last 6 Kyler Murray interceptions have all been targeted towards
Marvin Harrison targets.
Really, I did not see that.
I think at 6, I thought it might have been more, but I saw that same stat. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you the other thing that we didn't talk about. The one that he was over the middle and he was wide open, about 14, 15-yard pass. I went back and watched that, and he was going to catch the ball here. And as the ball's in the air, he changed his hands.
You saw that too.
I saw him do that on the end zone on a
What?
catch.
It's like what?
On the sideline.
What are you? First
Dale-
of all, you're thinking too damn much.
Dale, I saw that myself, and when he caught that one the touchdown in the fourth quarter against the Seahawks, and he got on his knees, kind of like praying.
was
It
the one.
seemed like his confidence started to come around because he had that nice back shoulder catch
Well,
and stuff.
that's the one. He had one on the sideline that was a big play where same thing. He went like this, and then you saw him go like this, and he caught it, and then stepped out of bounds with his body. And I agree. I think I question. This is a harsh statement. This might be too harsh. I question. He doesn't know what he's doing out there. He's not confident. He's not confident in what he's doing out there, and it's making him hesitate and do simple mistakes out there.
It's
He's lost.
You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, he's thinking way too much.
Yes.
He's not even playing instinctually. I mean, Dale, I saw that Dale. He had like this and went like this, and now it's a drop.
Yep.
And it's like, man, oh man, I don't know what the Cardinals should do with him, but I do know this: he needs some help. And if that means you bringing in a veteran presence,
Yes.
then you need to do that.
Right.
Maybe that veteran presence can help him along the way, but he can also take some of the pressure off of him. I don't know what he's feeling, but whatever he's feeling, it's overwhelming. And when it gets overwhelming, he's not even thinking.
No.
I mean, he's not. I mean, he's thinking too much. He's thinking too much, and he's not reacting. He's not playing.
Well,
that
I guarantee you, his entire career at Ohio State, if you went back and watched the film,
That's it.
he just caught the ball.
That's
Caught
it.
the ball.
Yeah.
Caught the ball.
No
And-
defender was moving him out of his route. That first play he stopped, that defender was pushing him off of his route, so he just decided to stop on it, and then Kyler threw the interception. It's just he never got that physicality at Ohio State.
Well, and that's always a change. But you'd think with the 20 pounds.
Yeah, Dale, exactly. This man added all that muscle. You can see it. And
gets bullied out there.
I
You
said,
can
I
see
said, I said to Dale's point about the pitchers and stuff who don't come into spring training ready and prepared. He came in ready and prepared. He worked his butt off in the weight room. You can see it. You don't even have to ask. You can see it. But yet he's and look, I don't know this for a fact. But Dale, you played, and I didn't play at the same level you did. But look, trash talking is huge.
Yes.
I mean, people can get inside your head trash talking,
Especially defensive backs.
and so I don't know what Marvin Harrison's demeanor is relative to that, but it seems like he allows some of this bravado or some of this trash talk to push him down.
That's what I mean by toughness. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does not have the football mentality on the field.
And
to
look,
go do it.
I don't know this for a fact, but it just seems like that to me. Because there's something that's getting inside his head that's not allowing him to actually play instinctually. He's overthinking, and maybe he's losing his confidence because that guy in front of him is in his ear and talking trash and has gotten down to him. I've played with people who've allowed trash talk to
Affect him.
affect him. Thank you, Dale. And look,
I do that here. He wilts like a- he
I'm not
wilts like
here
a baby
trying. I'm not
sometimes.
here trying to say I know for a fact that's what's happening with Marvin Harrison, but something's happening with Marvin Harrison.
Yes.
I mean, there's
But-
no question about it. The dude has too much talent. We've seen it on display for him to be at this level.
In terms of the offseason, Bruce, I can go get jacked beyond belief. Doesn't mean I'm walking in a Cardinals facility next week or next year and catching footballs.
Yeah,
No,
but,
but-
So it doesn't matter.
it-
It's in here.
But what it says is that you put the work in.
It means
You're
he
not-
lifted
you're not-
weights.
You're not coming in unprepared.
Did he do? I can tell you this: he worked out with Kyler Murray in the offseason in those receiver quarterback camps, and they look more lost today than they did last year.
Well, and here's the deal. So again, it brings me back to what's getting inside his head, and the only thing I can go to
I agree
is
with that.
is that defensive backs that he's going to. They're just chirping.
You know, well, the way I look at it, Coop, I think everything with him is mental, and I obviously you can cross pollinate with sports. I like it when you compare it to golf, just head space. The fact that you miss a 3-4 foot putt, guess what? You step over that next 3 or 4 foot putt, you're thinking more. Not, hey, I've made 1,000 of these. You're going, hey, I missed that last one, and then if you happen to miss that one, now things start piling up on you, and it's here because his physically. physically he should be absolutely fine. But if you don't got this 6 inches up here going in the right direction, and that I think that you're right. I think people can get him off his game. Rutgers defensive backs didn't talk noise to him.
What if a Rutgers guy talked to him?
Maryland defensive backs did not talk noise
He
to
was
him.
like, whatever.
You know, maybe he's hearing it for the first time.
I mean, the other thing on that side, I do give him a lot of credit for the way he played that second half. It's been third quarter on. Because anybody else had those types of meltdowns, crowd was mocking him. He made that first catch after those couple drops, the route stop, etc. Crowd was mocking him. And he was able to get in there, catch the ball, and catch that touchdown, be prevalent in the game. So maybe that mental toughness, now that he's broken through, maybe that's his guide forward, hopefully. Is what
Hopefully
we're
you
looking
build
at.
on
So,
that. Yeah.
Robert says, off Scottsdale Road, is that where the Coyotes facility was proposed? It actually doesn't say the exact cross streets. I did not click on the article and look at it. I just saw the the initial thing there as well. So, but it's up in that. I'm assuming it's up in that area because of that's the blank area.
Yeah. Speaking of the Coyotes, I saw where they're back in the news and even using Shane Doan's wife to try to get that. And here's the deal.
That's not a bad strategy, Bruce.
Yeah, but before anything goes anywhere, they have to have a playing facility. So
that's
what
it is.
That's number one.
It's to identify owners to come in, keep the NHL happy. There's going to be a franchise here as long as Gary Bettman's NHL commissioner, as long as there's a facility and an ownership that can actually afford it. They'll be here. The question will be when Gary Bettman's no longer the NHL commissioner, does that change? That's the time you're going up against right now. You got to find somebody that can do a franchise that I believe the owner has to be from here. You can't get somebody from LA to get in here to own the Coyotes. Nothing to that effect. It's got to be somebody local that can afford this franchise moving forward type of a thing. But, really quick, Flash Gordon says, Steve, the Kyler experiment is over. His all-time record against the NFC West is 8-22. Also, the Cardinals didn't do him any favors by not hiring an offensive-minded head coach. But see, this is my argument here. Yeah, Kyler's record against you. He's had some bad coaches here. He's had some bad teams here as well. Has he been perfect? No. But, and I know Kyler makes mistakes. He throws late to receivers sometimes, etc. I agree. I understand all of that stuff. But it's not all on Kyler Murray. Who are you going to get instead of Kyler Murray in here that's going to perform better with what you're seeing on that field right now?
Well, that's been my whole point. I tell people who don't like Kyler Murray, I said, okay, I'm okay with you changing. But who you're getting in here? Yeah. Just don't say we got to go draft another quarterback. No, that's not good enough. The New York Jets have been drafting quarterbacks forever.
Exactly.
I mean, first overall, third overall, second overall, and they don't pan out.
Elsewhere.
Yeah, the New York Giants, they think they may finally have something with Jackson Dart. But I mean, but it doesn't happen, people. And so I love the fact that the Cardinals moved on from Josh Rosen to Kyler Murray. I mean, Josh Rosen was a 10th overall pick in the first round of that draft.
Going to be it. The other,
and by the way, the new facility is just north of the 101, and just west of Scottsdale.
So it does sound like
where the Coyotes were going to be built, but it's right next to it.
Yeah.
So they were off of Pima. They were going to.
Evidently, the Cardinals bought it at auction in this past summer for $136 million.
So it's next to that. It's next to that land right there and stuff like that. Really quick on ASU, we have a few minutes left here. Friday night, big win over TCU.
Yeah.
It's the same conversation for me with the ASU as it is with the Cardinals. Offensive play calling continues to be abysmal, especially in the red zone, and starts the games. Those are my two concerns for ASU.
And that's it in a nutshell. Look, we're seeing from Sam Levitt right now what we saw a year ago. Got off to a slow start, and it was understandable last year because that was his first year as a starter after transferring from Michigan State, and he picked it up and I mean just carried the baton and was a great leader. I'm seeing the Sun Devils get better each week offensively, so that's exciting. But like you said, they had a 1st and goal from the 4.
First and 3, and they failed that one.
Yeah. I mean, they had a turnover on downs, had set up 4 field goals, and then they scored on a 4th and goal that tied the game.
Yeah.
Now, what they're clearly missing down in the red zone there is number 4.
Yeah.
Who's now number 44 with the New York Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, he got downhill. I mean, he just made those plays. So now I think what the Sun Devils need to do is they need to do what the Cardinals need to do in these situations. The Cardinals need to lean more on Kyler Murray's athleticism and his ability to create pressure. But with the ASU Sun Devils, they need to get more into their 2-point conversion plays. Those creativity plays down there, because
That's the problem.
they don't have number 4 to bang down. Now,
So, well, really quick. So I had it charted out before, and I have it in front of me, but I don't have it exactly here. Their play calling in the red zone, the TCU was stacking the box. They were stacking the box. They knew a run was coming off a tackle. Right or left, they were stuffing it. But yet 3 times you ran it, same spot. Then what would they do if they were going to throw it? Wide receiver screen, gets stuffed by the cornerback out there from that perspective. It's blatant. It's when they get in the red zone, it becomes predictable. And it's we can see it in the stadium. The old guy in front of me that is Mr. Negativity about everything can see it in front of everybody complaining about it. I can see it. Autumn can see it. My 17-year-old can see it. Everybody can see it, and they still do it and do it and do it. And it's just like, stop running. You're just running into a wall at that point.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah, and so Arroyo needs to realize that number 4 ain't there, and he ain't coming back.
Right, and that's why, again, it's the same thing, because Levitt has some of the same qualities that Kyler Murray
He does.
has, and
He does.
because he can run the ball.
But I've seen them use like some really nice creativity plays when they needed to go for a 2-point conversion. I've even said, that's nice, that was sweet.
Right.
Well, they need to pull those plays out and utilize them a little bit more. And like you said, use Levitt and his ability to
Get out on the edge.
one way or the
They rolled
other.
Levitt out a couple times. I remember it distinctly. Just nobody was open, because they rolled him out to the right, and then nobody was open, and he either had to eat it or throw it out of bounds.
But here's the
there
deal.
was one where he stood back there and like flagged guys around, like pointing guys around. He had so much time, and just nobody could get
Here's the
open.
deal. I'm watching Penn State. They have a quarterback named Auer. I mean, they roll him to the right.
Yeah.
All right, defense is all moving this way. And I'll be darned, they slip a tight end out, and he throws back to the left.
Gets it right there.
He's all alone. ASU could even run some stuff like that. I mean, come on,
To
man.
me, ASU and the Cardinals have the same offensive problem. Uncreative offense. And it's frustrating. I will say this. ASU wins these games, which is unbelievable that they continue to win them.
Well, ASU, they're starting. What I loved in the game with TCU, they started using a lot more different receivers aside from Tyson. I mean,
They're finding other guys.
the big long bomb to Jaron Hamilton, and what a great catch along the
Was
sideline.
that his first catch? I feel like that's his first catch of the year, by the way.
It may have been, because they don't really target
He
him.
dropped a big one. The last home game, he dropped a big one, or the last game he dropped a big one. But that was the first time where I went, "Oh, good, he's there."
Yeah.
Eusebio, of course, is making a name for himself.
They use McLean. And
Seven got hurt. I don't know what his status is, the tight end there. But I know it's just frustrating that have different problems. Football teams. Why do we have the same problems? Have something different. I will say this: Brian Ward, ASU's coaching staff. I think the coaching. We went into this offseason. We'll wrap up with this. Went into this coming into the season where the coaching staff, Kenny Dillingham, kept talking about not reading your press clippings, keeping everybody humble. I'm not too sure the coaches weren't reading their press clippings and thinking they were all that, and they've been out-coached, especially early in games, to start this season.
Well, I'll say
and
this.
I don't know if they've got to humble themselves to figure this out, but I think coaching is a big part of the issues that ASU has. Right now.
Well, whatever it is that they don't do in the first half, they go in at halftime and they make the right adjustments. I mean, that defense was just smothering in the second half.
They were down 17-0, and Brian Ward looked like he had never called a defense before in his life.
Well, but that changed, as you know, in the second half.
That's Sonny Dykes too. Sonny Dykes, that stupid trickery offense drives me nuts. So I've got to give him credit for that, right? So, Dale, your last thoughts? I appreciate you not beating Bruce up today.
I mean, I've heard Bruce say I agree with you more today than the last 20 years. The last 20 years.
He doesn't know what to do with himself over here, Bruce. Bruce, appreciate you as always coming in.
All right.
Go hit the hard-hitting questions over there, would you?
Let me get it to Joe. Let me get it to Joe G.
Hey, if you see Derek Hall or anybody over there, just give me a call. I'll sneak over there and I'll pepper questions from the distance. on those guys as well. But I appreciate you coming in as always. See you next week as well. McCollum on Business is going to be around noon today, just to let you guys know. Then we'll keep it rolling from there. So come and join me there. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow as well. Coach Sheehan from Scottsdale Christian Academy joins us as always. And appreciate everybody joining us. We'll see you later, everybody.